Hey everyone, my name is Peter and this is my first official video, so thanks for tuning in. So I've been collecting Dragon Ball figures for a while now, and one thing I've learned is that a great collection isn't just about the figures themselves, it's about the whole display where you can add your own personality, energy, and ideas to fit the vibe that fits you the best. In this video, I wanted to go over some tools of improving figure displays by utilizing resources outside the norm. Starting off with my personal favorite addition to any display are trading cards. In my case, since I collect primarily Dragon Ball figures, I like to use cards from the Dragon Ball Masters card game or the Dragon Ball Fusion World card game. The best part of including these cards into your display is representing a moment in a show or movie that you wouldn't be able to fit with a figure. Or there are also a lot of cases where a figure of that moment just does not exist yet. For example, my favorite beam struggle in all of Dragon Ball is the iconic Kamehameha vs. Gun in the Goku vs. Vegeta fight in the Saiyan arc. The only figures that really replicate that moment are the matchmakers, but I'm not a huge fan of how that moment is replicated in the figures themselves. However, I added this Dragon Ball Masters Kaioken card and this Dragon Ball Fusion World Gun card and placed both in front of the Kaioken Goku and Vegeta Master Lease figures. As you can see, these cards bring so much more depth to the figures, not just with the extra pop of color, but also the narrative context of one of the best moments in the entire show as a constant reminder. Cards also provide layered visual composition, which creates depth, color contrast, and visual flow within a display. These are all aspects that are pleasing to the eye and will bring your displays to the next level. Here's an example of my GT and Daima shelf where the cards lay up front to fill in empty spaces in the left, right, and middle, while providing a layered depth as the figures transition from largest to smallest from the back forward, with the small cards layered neatly at the very front. If you aren't a fan of cards but still want to achieve that layered depth, another tool are acrylics. In the context of anime specifically, acrylics are small plastic art pieces that are typically straight from the anime or manga. If you are a huge fan of the original source material, these are perfect for improving your display. In my case, I have a Manga Dimensions shelf where I like to use the acrylics logos of the different Dragon Ball shows to highlight each shelf. For example, here are my two Super Saiyan God Manga Dimension figures with the Dragon Ball Super logo front and center. Here are some more shots of how people have used acrylics to improve their displays. Another tool to improve displays are special effects. Now, what I mean by special effects varies depending on what franchise you are displaying, but in my case, Dragon Ball is all about those ki blasts. For example, I added this small GX materia piece to my Dragon Ball Super Broly figure, and I think it adds a little bit more depth to the pose to make Broly seem that much more fierce. Another example is this Vegito Blue. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you probably know about Vegito's Spirit Sword, which is exactly what you can add to this Vegito's hand to add more to his dynamic pose. The last tool I want to go over to improve a display are backdrops. Backdrops add a colorful and textured layer behind the typically white, black, or glass backing of a display shelf. This brings forward more of that layered visual composition that I mentioned previously in an area that is typically completely blank. Here are some examples of some awesome looking backdrops that really elevate a display. Thank you for sticking throughout the video, and I hope I was able to spur some ideas on what you can add to improve your displays. If you want a video on how to improve your display with regards to the figure specifically, go ahead and check out Applethroat's video, which I tagged below, on alignment, balance, and spacing. That's everything I wanted to cover. Go ahead and share your own ideas to improve a display in the comments below, and thanks for watching.